So I'm not now for this case create a procedural terrain as you can see here, and I'm gonna move my camera just in front, zoom out, and I'm gonna rotate around this terrain here. Okay, zoom out again. Okay, so I think here like this is pretty well. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna edit my function. Okay, so I'm gonna reset, and this is our function. So we're gonna edit function. So all these we've seen before. Okay, so no need to lose time. So I'm gonna rapidly create one here, and I'm gonna choose a rocky mountain. Okay, so here you can use the, I'm gonna try to resize a bit. Sorry, I'm gonna try to resize a bit so you can see we have here this function here. I think, oops, it's a bit hard to see, but okay, it's alright. Now we have, if you just click over here, we have the function output observer, so it will give you a quick overview of your function, but I think it's not, well, it's not really, it doesn't really give you a nice rendering result. So and then I'm not just play with the functions here, so to get the type of mountain we need. So I'm gonna just pause the video until I do this, but I think you have all the abilities to create a rocky mountain. So here I think we don't have to lose too much time. Okay, so I'll just pause the video and see you later. So here's the shrine I created. So very basic, very simple. And now what I want to do is create some materials for our terrain. But what I really want is have some grass here on the flat surfaces, and get some snow here on the peaks. So let's see how can we do that. So I'm gonna just select my procedural terrain and double click on this little preview, and here it opens the material editor. So I'm gonna just select the default here and change its name to Rocky Mountain, and then just click on Mixed Material, and as you can see, Vue has created two materials. So we have Rocky Mountain and Material. So each one is independent from the other, but this material here is a mix of the two independent material. So here I will choose this Rocky Mountain, I call it snow for example, and this one here I call it grass. Okay, here we have our two materials. So let's see how actually they work. So I'm gonna click on the highlighter, and now it's time to explain what's the highlighter. So I'm gonna just click here on the highlighter and right click and maintain the right click down and choose a color. So I'm gonna pick a blue color like this one here, and for the grass I'm gonna right click. Actually you need to click on the highlighter and then maintain the right click on it, and I'm gonna choose a red color. Okay, and actually what you can see is a purple color or violet color if you want to. So here what you can deduce is the blending or the mix between the blue and the red gives us purple. So we have 50% of blue and 50% of red, and this gives us this violet color here. Okay, so let's click or just click on Rocky Mountain here. So what we have is a slider, and this slider actually controls the blending between the two materials, okay, which one is more present than the other. And as I said, we are 50%, so we have 50% of blue and 50% of red. If I get the slider to like 0%, we're gonna have a full material one which is blue, and if I get material to like 100%, we're gonna have 100% of material to which is red. And with this button you can swap between these two materials here. Next, what we have is the distribution of material. Okay, so I'm now go back to like 50%, and here we have the distribution of materials 1 and 2. So here we can use a map so to distribute our materials. For example, I'm gonna go to layers and choose this map here. Okay, so here it is, and as you can see how it actually distribute these materials. And right now, if you, for example, if you take the slider to 100%, the distribution will no longer work, because we have 100% of red material and no percentage of our blue material, so it will not blend between the two. So at 50% we have a good blending. So let's do a test render here. As you can see, it's pretty well done. But you can say that this alright here for the blue material if we change it to grass here, but actually what I want to is to create grass on all flat surfaces. Okay, so this distribution map is not appropriate for us. You can maybe change the scale if you want to, for example like 0.2 for everything, and here you'll have the other result, but it's not what we want. Okay, but you can see if you have some specific materials or distribution of materials, you can create your own map if you want. And I will reset this function. And here we have the material mixing method. So here we have the simple blend, we have the full blend, so everything gonna be blended. We have the full blend also with cubic bumps. This is the type of blending bumps. We have the cover, okay, and the color and lighting blend only. So only blend the diffuse or the color and the lighting. Okay, we have back to simple blend. Next we have the smooth blending strip, so you can modify it as you want, from none to progressive, depending on your needs. Next, what we're gonna see is the influence of environment, and this is what I want to point to and focus on. So here the influence of environment is pretty much like the presence with the ecosystem. If I just enable a distribution of materials dependent on local slope, altitude and orientation, so here I'll have some settings to distribute the materials on my mountain or object. Here we have the influence of altitude. For example, if I take it to like 0% or near 0 value, sorry, just pause the video because I had something to do. But here we have the influence of environment. So as I said, it depends on the altitude, slope and orientation constraints. For example, here we have the influence of altitude. Okay, so if you take a closer look, you can see material 2 appears rather at low altitudes or at high altitudes. So material 2 makes material 2 is our red color. So if I choose material 2 appears rather at low altitudes, you'll see that here in high altitudes, I'm gonna do a quick preview. You can see that at high altitudes we have this blue color here. okay, which is due to the fact that our material 2 appears at low altitudes. Okay, so, and go back to our modification, and now what I'm gonna do is this you can change it as you want, it doesn't really matter, but here I wanna influence of altitude, so the red color is appearing at high altitudes. Okay, and what I want to do is influence play with the influence of altitude. So if we have a strong value, why it doesn't change? Because we have 50% of blending. So if we take a bit down this mix here, you can see maybe, yeah, here it begins to appear. Actually the mix between the two material was at 50%, so 50% of these objects was present on the same terrain. So with the altitude modifications, we couldn't really see which material will appear on low surfaces or high surfaces. Okay, so the influence of altitude here, you can change it as you want to. So I really want the red to be a low altitudes, and as I said, the mixing also needs to change according to the altitude. So here, yeah, as you can see, the red is only present at high altitudes, as we specified in our settings. Okay, as we've said here, the material 2 appears rather at high altitudes. Okay, so if we take to strong, you can see that the red is more present. Okay, so let's play with this here. Maybe change a little bit the mixing. Yeah, I think something like this. Oops, too much. .37, I think it's a good value. So here we have the red, so I'm gonna do just a little preview to explain a bit more. So what we have here is the red color, which is the material 2, appears at high altitudes, and the blue color here appears actually at low altitudes. So this is the influence of altitude. So to resume, or to summarize, or to sum up, okay, so we have the mixed materials, the mixed materials layer, which makes two different materials for one simple object, have some constraints that makes it appear that makes the two materials which constitute the mixed material appears only at certain levels or at certain conditions. For example, here we have the condition of altitude. So altitude will influence on the distribution of our material 2 and material 1. So the red one appears at high altitudes and the blue one at low altitudes. I hope it's a bit clear now. So here we have, I think we've modified something, or touched something, yeah, at high altitude. I think we've done something. What's going on? 37. Yeah, it's alright now. Okay, I think we didn't click on OK, so it reset the settings. So here we have the altitude range, so you can change the altitude range depending on the material or simply by object. and here relative to sea level. So if you define the sea level here on your options, so you can modify the altitude, the transition altitude here. You can see depending on the sea level. So I'm gonna back to biomaterial. It's alright. So, but we have a certain problem, and this I want to point to. As I said, I want to the grass to appear on flat surfaces, and allow at high altitudes I want some snow. So but here we have a flat surface, but our red color is always present. So what we need to do, and here it's the influence of slope. Okay, so we're gonna see how to modify this. Okay, it's the second category of our influence of environment. We have the influence of slope. So material 2 appears rather on steep slopes or on flat surfaces. Our material 2 is the red one, so which will be the snow actually. Sorry, I did mistake. So I'm gonna just rename this one as snow and this one as grass, because in my head I have in mind that the red one was snow and the blue one was grass, and actually I named them the otherwise. So I named the blue as snow and the red as grass, but it's fixed now. So keep in mind the red color is the snow and the blue color is the grass, and don't forget these two colors are obtained from the highlighter. Influence of environment. So go back to our slope. So if we want the slope to influence our blending at strongly or weakness or weakly, here we choose that material 2 appears rather on steep slopes or on flat surfaces. Our red color is snow, so it will appear on steep slopes. Okay, so here, and we're gonna play with this setting here. Okay, just to see the influence. Okay, maybe we have too much blue here. Let's see. Actually we need to play a bit again with the altitude so we can have a better result, but it's actually good. So I want material to high altitude, so I'm gonna just get it a bit down. Okay, it starts to get in shape. We go 100%. Yeah. Now let's just move a bit. Okay, 100%. I think it's alright. Okay, so let's do a preview rendering. And as you can see here, we have the red color only on steep surfaces or at high altitudes, and all the flat altitudes or the flat surfaces or low altitudes are pretty much getting the blue color. So this is what I generally mean a mixed material. So as you can see here, we get a nice result. So it's pretty much good. The transition is being well rendered, so no need to play with this. And here I have at the peaks we have good amount of red color. So let's go back to our material editor, and you can also have the influence of orientation, how the orientation gonna affect your material. Here material 2 appears near azimuth, so this is you can play with depending on your needs. Actually, I don't really use it often. I don't really know how it does works, but you can check on internet or on the internet or something about it. Here we have the coordinate system, which will consist of world orientation or object orientation. It's pretty good. This is the material to mix, and now let's create our two materials. So I'm gonna create the snow material, and first I'm gonna deactivate the highlighting. Okay, so actually, okay, so for this color here, I'm gonna use a function. Firstly, I'm gonna edit the color map. Okay, so it's starting from this one here, so it will be white, full white. Okay, and it's going to like layer something like this. Okay, and I apply OK, and now I'm gonna edit function and delete this one, or just let it, it's okay. And I'm gonna create a noise map. So just click here in an empty space and then click on add noise node. Okay, so here I have noise here, noise node, so we can choose from one of these presets. Okay, but Pillar Nose will do the thing. And here I set a value, a low value, as you can see, to like 0.1 or something, and play with the scale. Okay, for something like this, and connect your bump to this noise value, and you can see that we have this type of effect. So I'm gonna just reduce a little bit the wavelength, so we have smaller 0.4 smaller noise, and then go to bump and just reduce the depth to something like not 0.4, 0.01, sorry, 0.01, yeah, something like this would be nice. Okay, so that's alright. I'm not gonna use displacement and add a little bit of highlight, okay, which will be dull and no anisotropy. Okay, so you can also activate here this one here to play with your highlights, see how they are actually, but I think it's alright. So going back to grass, and next we're gonna create sorry, I did the same mistake actually. I'm really sorry about this, but copy material, and I'm really tired, you know, but it's alright. So here we have snow, yes, snow, and here we have grass. So actually you can see the benefit of using material 1, material 2, so that it's not dependent on your naming here. So if you do a mistake in naming your materials or something, they will not affect your settings. Here we have the grass, so I'm gonna create edit function, and I allowed some grass. Sorry, I'm gonna reset the function, and then I'm gonna double click here, also delete the bump here, and I'm gonna double click here and choose from these ones here the simple material or simple grass. Maybe this one, standard green, has various shades of green, and apply it, and just by updating you can see how it does actually work. Okay, as you can see pretty well. So I'm gonna just do run test render, and as you can see we're getting such a nice result with blending some grass with snow, and you can see that actually our snow material is pretty well done. This is the benefit of mixing materials, is that you can create this sort of effects which are very interesting. So we'll maybe edit a function and play with the global color. So here we have it's a bit tricky, as you can see. You have color variation, we have the grainy fractal, which are blended to have this result here, which is our color actually. So we're gonna modify a bit this one here. Okay, so I want some green grass. Okay, something like this, and some less green grass, or maybe darker. Yeah, a bit more brighter, and choose something like this. Okay, we have some nice color variation here. You can also play with the brightness contrast function here to add some contrast or so. Okay, so we have nice result there. You can see the update here. Next we have the bump, so you can use your bump or displays to create some nice relief. Okay, so I'm gonna just play a bit and click on OK. If you want to add some depth, you can. So okay, and I'm gonna apply, click on OK, and just position our camera and do a final rendering here. So, and render. So here is the final render, and you can see that it looks pretty good and pretty nice. Okay, so I think we've covered a bit of everything of the mixed material. As I said, they're pretty simple and give pretty nice results. So I just want to apologize about some of the mistakes made here with this two material, because when I prepared the tutorial, I was thinking about red will be snow and blue will be grass, and then I just invert them. So sorry for this, and I think just you understood how to use this mixed material, and it's a pretty powerful option from for the material editor. So you can also try some crazy things, as creating some specific surfaces or sci-fi surfaces. For example, let's take here, I don't know, load some of the special effects here. Let's see this star field here, and I don't know, yeah, and maybe here in the grass use something like this here, atmosphere color, and just refresh the view and render, and as you can see here, we are getting some very interesting results or sci-fi results. If you are creating some planets or something, you can try these crazy things, and actually it's looking pretty bizarre. But okay, I hope you really learned something and you're enjoying the tutorial. The next step will be the phase or not the phase, the phase of working with layers. Okay, so it's also a pretty powerful as a feature of the material editor. So, and it will be less long than this one, I think. Okay, see you later.